okay? This is a petition for a pardon. In this case, Glendon King. The council doesn't have to have a hearing on your pardon. We can vote yes or no. And for that matter, for the people who don't know, we don't have to have a hearing on anything. Okay, we've had hearings on judges. We don't have to have a hearing on judges, but the council does do a lot of good work. We don't have to have hearings on justice of the peace, new appointments, or reappointments. Years ago, we did have hearings on all JPs. We don't now, but we easily could. We don't have hearings on extra work and change orders. In the past, we have. We don't have to. So I just want to put that in context, why we're having a hearing, because some people ask, why are we having a hearing? You're in my district. I think it's important to know about why you want a pardon. So that's why I took the initiative to grant you a hearing today. At this point, let me read, first of all, a letter addressed to the councilors by the governor. Dear councilors, pursuant to Article 7 of Section 1 of Chapter 2 of Part the 2nd of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, as amended by Article, what is that one? I'm not good at that. Well, whatever. Of the amendments to the Constitution, I submit for your advice and consent my decision to pardon Glendon King for the following finding convictions: possession with intent to distribute a Class B controlled substance and possession of a Class D controlled substance. Mr. King's petition was favorably recommended to me, the governor, by the Advisory Board of Pardons. His petition, the board's recommendation, and related attachments are included for your review. Sincerely, Maura Healy, Governor. So at this point, Mr. King, we can do one of two things. We'll do whatever you want with respect to this. If you want, you can make an opening statement, or, which most people do, they just would rather hold off on that and let the councilors, if they have any questions, ask questions. Would you rather have the councilors ask you questions, or would you rather make an opening statement?
I can have you guys ask questions, I guess.
Okay, so the first council at this point is going to be, to my left, Councilor Paul DiPaolo, if he has any questions.
Yeah, thank you, Councilor. Just really brief.
I'm sorry, one thing. I limited the questions. I'm sure it won't happen, but just in case, I limit the questioning to 15 minutes, okay? So no councilor can ask questions more than 15 minutes. Councilor DiPaolo.
Thank you, Councilor. Good morning, Mr. King. I just have a couple questions, and I'll open by saying I've reviewed all the materials we received. I intend to support this pardon. But I do want to ask two questions for the benefit of the public. One is, it looks like in reviewing your materials, your first involvement with the court system was as a juvenile. Is that accurate from the school incident?
And if you could speak up loud, so.
Had any issues as far as?
Let me back up, Mr. King. Could you tell us what the process was with the parole board applying for this pardon and then reaching us today?
Basically, they sent me a letter stating that they'd voted, they had all voted in favor of me having a hearing.
And how long ago had you applied for that?
It's been about 1.5 years, maybe.
Okay. And then you had a hearing?
Had a hearing December 2nd.
Okay. And then here you are today. Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. At this point, Councilor Tara Jacobs.
Good morning. Good to see you. Thank you for coming in. I've also reviewed all the materials that came forward from the parole board on your request. And I do have a couple questions for you. I also am very supportive and excited that we're having pardons so early in Governor Healy's administration. And so I very much look forward to voting yes on your pardon request. But I do have a couple questions for you. Before I get to the questions, I also just want to say thank you for your service, because reading, you've served in so many ways. And I just want to honor that and give that full respect and appreciation. What I'd like to hear is the reason this will have an impact, the way in which this will have an impact getting a pardon and a clear slate on your life? What are the motivations that you bring this forward to us?
Well, for one thing, didn't realize it up very recently that I was labeled as a convicted felon. Really didn't sit well with what I've been doing for years. And I initially had a LTC. And in order for me to get another LTC, I'd have to go through this process and hopefully get it approved.
So basically, right, that you had that was removed. Yeah. That's really all the questions I have for you. So I just, I'm been hopeful and you've been living an amazing life and I'm sure you will continue to do so. So.
Counselor Devaney.
First of all, I'm very happy that you're here. And I feel, when we go back, we had Governor Weld who was hot on crime. And you're the poster child. That's what happened. And it's sad because there's a lot of people out there that didn't deserve what happened. And before that, I just want you to know, before I was here, the council used to have maybe 30 every week pardons and they voted on them. It was just a matter of procedure, but Weld stopped that. So I just wanted to give that little history. So tell me something. What do you think of this process of parole? How do you think it could be improved and how long did it take you to get there?
Well, in my particular case, roughly being a year and a half, I think it might have been a little too long to wait, especially going from one administration to the next. But with the next administration, it worked 6 months straight.
And you were a firefighter?
Firefighter.
That's really, you have a very proud record in your community service too. And then you're on the honor guard. And I have a special place in my heart with firefighters. My late husband was a firefighter for 32 years. But so having said that, so how do you think the process could be improved?
I really didn't have much of an issue with the process. It was just a little timing. Maybe it took a little bit too long to go.
But you have done things on your own in the community. Tell us some of those things that you have.
I've done a little bit of kid stuff with the kids. My wife actually runs a daycare, and we tend to do a lot of stuff. A lot of community work. When I work.
Working with children to offices and everything. How did you get involved in that? In that community type of work? Was it because of?
No, that had nothing to do with it. I just do things on my own. If somebody needs help, I'm always there. I'm the type of guy that won't keep the shirt off his back, so I'll do whatever.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm so pleased that you brought on the fire department. But how?
Wait.
And I'm that you're able to because I would have asked for another line because I've seen it happen in the past. I know people. So I'm glad that they're understanding of it, of the nature of it because, well, it's not being had in frame what happened. So, tell me what your plans now, how will this change your life this time?
It'll give me a peace of mind knowing I'm not labeled. To me, that's a bad label, especially when you've done it.
Sure.
My life will be able to move on a little bit easier now. I won't have to have anybody say you did that, you're a bad person, because I never was a bad person.
So along the way, how did it deter you for doing things?
Well, it really didn't deter me a whole lot because eventually I was still able to vote on the fire department. I was able to do pretty much anything except apply for a license to carry again.
Well, I'm very happy for you, and I'm sorry it had to be this long, but when you go back in time That's how it was. So I'm very pleased, and I want to thank the governor for. It's the fastest we had any governor in 5 months, and your pardon and the other 6 pardons were given to Governor Jacob. So, I couldn't be more pleased. So, and I wish you all good luck in the rest of your life and get that behind you, right? You know, I thank your wife, so what a wonderful job she's doing. I can't tell the age anymore, so,
No, that's my wife, but it's my heart.
okay. So you have a daycare? Yeah, well, that's wonderful. You both have done good service, and I wish you all good luck.
Thank you very much. Councilor Terrence Kennedy.
Good morning.
Thanks, sir.
Where you moving to Florida?
When, where?
Let's start with where.
Where is, narrowed down between Miramar, Boca Raton, Coral Springs, western area. Nothing in Miami, nothing up north.
And when you plan on doing that?
Hopefully by the early part of next year, they should be all set to get that way.
Why do you feel you need a gun there?
Well, I've seen a lot of things on the news about Florida. They basically have a stand your ground law rule. Yeah, they have the stand your ground rule, and I believe I just heard recently that Florida actually just passed where you don't have to have a license anymore. So everybody's going to pretty much have a gun, whether it's good or bad.
I don't support that. I think you're very deserving of this part. I intend to congratulate the governor for putting this forward. The Chairman Hurley was out there, and Dr. Vaughn is out there for her hearing. Supported your petition as well. I just congratulate Councilor Iannella for putting this on so quickly so you can get it moving. You've waited a very, very long time for it. He's walking into. But I am voting for it. I am concerned about the gun guy.
Yeah.
I'm not a big gun guy.
I understand that, and I'm not a big gun guy either. But
We have the standing, too many people having guns, we have all the problems. So, with that caveat, I congratulate you, I wish you well, I intend to vote for your pardon. Thrilled that it's before us, and I'm thrilled that the governor put them all before us so early in the term. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilor. Just a few questions.
Sure.
You got convicted in 1991, is that correct?
Here,
1991.
I think I was off probation. Time.
It says here, for a 1991 conviction for possession with intent to distribute, it talks about 1991. Is that wrong? Or-
I could, maybe 89, I could have been 91.
Okay, this is the letter from the parole board sent me this. They talk about 1991 conviction for possession with intent to distribute Class B, as well as possession of Class D. And you bear responsibility for that. You're not denying that.
I'm not denying anything.
You take a full responsibility. Because when somebody requests a pardon, it's an extraordinary remedy. Most people don't get a pardon. I mean, 99% of the people who are convicted of a crime don't get a pardon. So it's unusual you got a pardon. So in this case, it's extraordinary. And what's important is I look at the guidelines, and you demonstrated that you're taking full responsibility, which I appreciate. Okay. Also, it says you've made exceptional strides in self-development and self-improvement and would be a law-abiding citizen. Tell me in the last 10 years or so, what have you been doing?
Working on the fire department. On that, doing honor guard events, on paid detail. A lot of kids, grandkids, I spend time with them.
Okay, and I read somewhere your goal is to move to Florida.
Sir,
Okay, and do you plan to work there or just retire and take it home?
I plan on retiring, going there. Eventually, time goes on, like she'll probably get bored like me, and I'll probably want to do something. I did a lot of security work. I'm a special police officer, so I'm pretty good at that. So if I get bored enough, that's probably what I end up doing.
And You've done security work, and have you applied to do security work in Massachusetts?
I haven't over the years, yes.
And it was difficult to get a security job because you weren't able to carry a gun?
This was prior. I was security.
Okay, I get it. So let me ask this, you're going to Florida, you may retire, you may not. Would you have applied for a pardon if the parole board denied you? Because you can get a pardon without without the caveat of granting, in this situation, a gun. This pardon is for the sole purpose of granting a pardon, plus so you can own a gun and carry a gun. Would you have still got the pardon if you couldn't get the gun?
Oh, yeah.
I just want to know so how important is the gun? And I heard Councilor Kennedy, but if you could just elaborate on that.
Oh, like I said, my main thing was the conviction felony status. As far as a gun, I've owned guns over the years. It's been a while. I know people in Florida that own guns. I've seen a lot of bad things on the news about guns, and I know they're not good, but it's pretty much for the protection of myself and my family.
Just be careful.
Sir,
Yeah, I mean, you've been good since 1991. You haven't had any issues with the law. It seems from everything I read, you've been a respectable citizen. And I think your application for pardon is fully warranted. Before I conclude the hearing, do you have any family members that are here today that you'd want to introduce?
just my wife, Lisa King.
Good morning, how are you? Good. Yeah, so at this point, is there anyone in opposition to the pardon? Having been no one in opposition, we will conclude the hearing, and I would be more than happy at the next formal meeting to put your name before the council so you will be granted a full pardon. Thank you very much. That will conclude the hearing.
Ladies.
Thank you very much. Goodbye to you.